come up with that dog shit pick.
What the fuck were we thinking? What the fuck were you thinking?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Jimnasium. As always, it is me, XFL Jim.
There's just a lot of trying after play. We're trying to make some stuff happen, and they're doing a little extra pushing and shoving. We're trying to get our fucking job done.
As always, I'm joined by the man himself. It is Chase Lupine Fiasco Sessoms.
Whoa.
That's exactly what everyone was saying to Alabama after Saturday night.
Dude, Vandy did it right, I will say. After they won that game, oh man, they did it right. The impromptu parade down to Broadway and to the throw in the goalpost in the river, just beautiful. God,
absolutely beautiful. Big show today. Huge weekend in college football. Very fun weekend in the NFL. We have the AP Top 25 to talk about. We have a couple games to hit. Eric actually got back on the schneid with his college football bets.
Yeah, he was all over it with his round robin on Saturday. Just money line dog after money line dog. He almost swept it, and it would have been glorious if he did.
Yeah, what is he? He had Washington, Minnesota, Arkansas, Cal.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Almost the perfect weekend for Eric.
But
Chase,
still a good one.
Are you ready to get into this AP Top 25?
Let's go.
I'm starting this off on a little bit of a down note because receiving one vote, it is the Kentucky Wildcats.
Oh, God.
I know.
Just somebody's uncle in Kentucky gave them one vote. That
defense is actually pretty good, though. It's mean.
I don't know what you're judging them against, but I guess.
Receiving 3 votes, didn't play this week, Colorado.
I think it's time that they should be receiving votes. They're a lot better than everyone thought they were going to be. We'll have to see. I think if they have another performance like they did against UCF this week against Kansas State, they will be ranked. Yeah, Eric, I do. I'm not biased at all. I think that was the targeting. Not biased at all, by the way. Yeah. That sandwich shop you can still see clear even with the sandwich shop in your head.
Receiving 4 votes, your Louisville Cardinals.
I think it might be time to kick them.
Well, they're out of the top 25 now. So
I'm talking kicking them from getting votes and everything. I think they really screwed the pooch with that SMU game.
They may have. SMU might just be better than we expected.
It just took them a little while to get started, but yeah. I don't know. They were everyone's darling, though, to win the ACC.
That's fair. I feel like a lot of people soured them after that BYU loss, which is looking better.
Looks better and better each day.
Number 4, Washington, receiving votes. The Huskies.
Yes, they should be. I guess they should be receiving votes.
They're quiet.
I don't know. They're quiet. That loss to Wazoo kind of muffled them a bit.
Receiving 6 votes, the Syracuse Orange.
Rank the Syracuse Orange, dude. They looked really good against UNLV. They looked excellent against UNLV.
That game's on the list, by the way, too. Amazing. We've been blessed with at least one fantastic Friday game every week this season, it feels like.
I think so. Because last week we had Virginia Tech and Miami, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
7 votes for the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
They sure are blasting people whenever they win. They put up points in bunches.
I got a fun fact. Texas Tech currently, as the standings are, first place in the Big 12.
Really?
They have 2 conference wins. That's why.
Okay, so no one else has really played any conference games then.
Yeah, I think every other team is like either 1-1 in conference or like 1-0.
Okay.
8 votes for Iowa.
Is it time that we talk about Iowa no longer receiving votes?
That was a classic Iowa game. I have it on the list here. It was a great first half.
Yeah. So they're very competitive in first halves. That's for sure.
That defense is still really good, but this is what Iowa is and will always be for like the foreseeable future. This is what they've been for the last like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Receiving 8 votes, Washington State, the Cougs.
I like that they're receiving more votes than Washington because they beat Washington.
They should.
They should.
Receiving 17 votes, your Arkansas Razorbacks.
Double-digit votes. This is exactly where I want us to stay and hang out for the foreseeable future. I want us to be ranked at the end of the season. I want us to hang out right here and not get all the pressures that come with being ranked.
You want to be the team that everyone hates to play.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't know. We seem to drag other teams down into rock fights, and like I guess Texas A&M, we just happened to get bludgeoned by rocks whenever we did that. But like, yeah, I mean, we won a rock fight against Tennessee. Like, I think that we're the competition that everyone plays down to.
You guys won a rock fight, and I don't even think it was your best rock fight.
It wasn't our best rock fight.
Like you dominated the rock fight, and it wasn't like there were so many times watching that first half. We'll get to it more when we like preview the game. So many times watching that first half, like, God, Arkansas should be up by like 20-0 right now.
Yes, yeah, we should have been.
Receiving 26 votes, everyone's favorite team, the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Coming from like only receiving like 1 vote or not receiving any votes last week to definitely getting votes after that. I love it. I honestly, they're 3-2 now?
I believe so.
This is the only time I say rank a 3-2 team. Like you deserve to be ranked after you not only take out the number 1 team, but do it gate to wire fashion.
And like it wasn't, not even close to like upset style.
Yeah. It wasn't a last second play. It wasn't a miracle. It was a stout beating.
My take on Vanderbilt making a bowl is getting stronger and stronger throughout the season.
Yeah, it is.
Receiving 33 votes, Army.
Rank Army. Both Army and Navy. Both Army and Navy deserve to be voted.
Yeah, they should both be ranked. Which also receiving 43 votes, Navy. Neither are ranked. Both should be ranked.
Both, but they're both on the cusp. I'm not sure what else they have to do to be ranked but not like they should be ranked because not only are they winning, they're absolutely destroying teams.
They are dusting these teams, dude.
Yeah. Poor Air Force. What you remember when Air Force was the darling service academy? What happened to that?
Like for the last like three years, that happens though with these service academies. They go through slumps, they go through peaks and valleys. Air Force is just they're in a valley right now. They'll be fine.
I really want them to play for a AAC championship and then turn around and play the Army Navy game right after it. God, please let that happen. They have to be the front runners in the conference right now.
I think both of them probably have to be, unless like maybe Tulane.
Yeah, it's them and Tulane. It has to be.
Yeah. Receiving 51 votes, my Nebraska Cornhuskers.
I think I kind of think that you are like Arkansas in the respect that like this is where you want to be.
Yes, this is 1,000% where we want to be. We want to be like at this point in time, being ranked is too much pressure, and it just doesn't work out. I like being the scrappy team that other people don't want to play. I have a fun Nebraska fact because I didn't have that game because the Nebraska-Rutgers game was a disgusting rock fight as well. But fun fact for Nebraska this season, only defense to not allow a rushing touchdown. on the season.
That's stout. That's really stout.
98 votes for USC.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same USC team that we see every single year.
This is them just falling out of the top 25, so I understand it.
Yeah.
Maybe we were a little too high on USC after we wanted to.
Yeah, but it goes hand in hand with us being a little too high on LSU, I think.
I think so. Like, this was a classic Big Ten sort of game, which you don't fucking talk about too often.
Right.
It was dumb. It was a very dumb game, but USC 98 votes. Now getting into the top 25. At 25, SMU.
Do they really? They've only got one loss. I guess they deserve it after they went on the road and they take out a top 25 ranked team with Louisville.
I think we're both like I think Louisville's fine. I think they're still a decent team.
Right. I don't think they're as good as I thought they were because it seems like they've folded up now that they've played two tougher teams. But I don't know. I think this is the perfect week to fade SMU.
I think so too. I also think that the ACC, and more so in the Big 12, but I think both the ACC and the Big 12 are like the most parity conferences.
I don't think that the ACC is just a running joke like it was last year.
No, I don't think so either. At number 24, and I this week I listed how many spots the teams either rose or fell from the previous week. Falling 14 spots to number 24, the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, I don't think that this is a top 25 team. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
They're riding on their name brand right now.
I think by the end of the season, they will be in the receiving votes category, potentially.
I agree.
23, rising one spot, Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, only one loss to a pretty good Penn State team. I think Illinois is good.
And they didn't get like just blown out by Penn State, if I remember correctly.
No, it was like 21-7, 24-7, something like that. Illinois is a good team.
Yeah.
At number 22, no change, Pitt.
Pitt's a good football team. Pitt is where they should be. They could even, if they keep winning games, it's time for them to start creeping a little bit higher.
Watch out for Pitt. This might be a sneaky like Pitt in the ACC championship kind of year. I don't know if they're statistically like up there with these teams, but they have those weird Pitt vibes, and they have the quarterback.
Yeah, they do. They got the right quarterback.
At number 21, falling 12 spots, Missouri.
I could make a case for kicking Missouri the fuck out of the top 25.
Yeah, you could.
Dude, how do you get housed like that by Texas A&M?
So obviously there had been troubles with Missouri the previous weeks. They're close wins against Boston College and Vanderbilt, which, hey, both those look better now.
They don't look near as bad, yeah.
But, like, I don't. So we'll get to this later because I have a take for a team that is higher up that was also in this game. You and me are of the opinion, like so many people have the opinion that Texas A&M is like a playoff team. And I don't think Texas A&M is that good. I don't think Connor Wegman is that good of a quarterback. And to look like this and to come out so flat, disgusting.
Gross.
At number 20, going up one spot, Oklahoma, the Sooners.
Okay. It's time. Yeah, it's time to get behind the Sooners big time with the Red River shootout coming up this weekend.
Dude, Texas is lucky that Red River wasn't this week. At number 19, going up 5 spots, Indiana.
I had Northwestern keeping that close with them jumping into the top 25, and that didn't happen at all. Like they came out and they put on a show. They can score points in bunches. I think that they're a scary team for anybody in the Big Ten right now.
I think they're just flat out like a good team right now. I think they're very well coached. I think offensively they're extremely capable. I'm very worried. I don't suspect Nebraska will be favored going to that game. I wonder how big of a dog we're going to be in 2 weeks. But Indiana's a good team.
I'm kind of interested to see Rayola in a shootout with Indiana. Like that sounds. I kind of want to see that too.
At 18, going up 2 spots, K-State.
Okay.
Another team didn't play, so benefit of a bye week.
They feel like the most like meh of all the top 25 teams.
They have these like their last performance was fantastic but it was against Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Who's like recently fallen off a cliff.
I don't know how I feel about their quarterback and him abusing his hair privileges like that.
Man, I can't quit Avery Johnson. I like him too much.
See, I'm okay with you abusing your hair privileges because you've lived life. But him abusing his hair privileges, like, come on, kid.
It's fair. He's like 19.
First of all, I want to say I abused my hair privileges, and I just want to show you just what's going on there now. That's when you abuse your hair privileges, you lose your right to have hair.
That's what Avery Johnson has to look forward to.
That is exact. This is look at right here, Avery. This is what you got.
Big game this week for the Wildcats, by the way. They play Colorado coming up. That's going to be an interesting game.
That's going to be a banger.
At 17, going up 4 spots, Boise State.
I don't know why we're not talking about them being a top 15 team right now. They
Honestly,
have the best player in college football.
Their only loss is a narrow loss to Oregon.
That's top 15 material. You tell me that if you tell me that LSU is a better football team right now and deserves to be higher ranked. No, we could, as we go down this list, I'll point out teams that I don't think should be ranked higher than Boise State.
I will honestly tell you the next 5, I think Boise State should be ahead. Okay. By the way, we'll just breeze over that game. Ashton Genty again in like 1 half, 2 touchdowns, like 13 carry for 160 some yards. He's crazy,
dude. We haven't seen something like this in college football in close in my life, in your lifetime. We haven't seen something like this.
He is on pace to like easily break Barry Sanders' records.
Like barely in my lifetime have we seen something this good. Like this is insane.
He's averaging 2 touchdowns a game.
Averaging 2 touchdowns a game, and what's his yards per carry? He's
11.
got 11. He's averaging like 5.7 yards after first contact.
He is insane. At number 16, Utah, going up 2 spots.
Were they on a bye this week?
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So they got the benefit of the jump. They're also kind of meh, I think, this season.
Especially without
Cam Rising.
Yeah, especially without the boy Cam Rising. I think with Cam Rising, this is like maybe a fair rating. Without him, Boise State over them 100% of the time.
Absolutely.
At number 15, Texas A&M going up 10 spots.
I'm sorry, but the way that I understand Missouri was highly ranked, but after the way that Missouri had won their last like 3 games, I understand you can't drop them precipitously when they keep winning, but that was not a number 7 or whatever they were type team.
No, that wasn't a win worthy of jumping 10 spots in my mind.
No, Connor, no, just no. No.
And now I have to hear people online talk about Texas A&M being like, they have a path now to the SEC championship, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, no, they'll fuck it up somehow.
No, they will. I mean, this is they're on pace for a very interesting path to 9-3, 8-4.
Yeah. I mean, they 8-4, I think they're more likely 8-4. Yeah. But I think that, yeah, I don't think that they're SEC championship good. Like, there's a lot of really good 1-loss teams right now in the SEC.
I think so too. At number 14, BYU going up 3 spots.
Good on BYU. Good on BYU jumping up. They Yeah. I can't wait to see BYU Utah.
That'll be so good. I can't wait to see BYU versus more of the Big 12. They've played in a lot of close games. Like, they just keep winning.
Yep.
At number 13, LSU.
They're not that good. They're not. Their defense is so bad. They're okay. Let's rephrase this. Their offense is that good. Their defense is not top 25 caliber.
I would love to see LSU play like Navy.
Oh, dude. That's the kind of team that could easily jump up and beat LSU because they hold on to the ball.
Yep.
They milk the clock. I think right now, straight up, if they were to play that game today, my money would be on Navy on the money line.
So would mine. At number 12, going up 3 spots, Notre Dame.
They're just kind of slowly creeping back, aren't they?
Yeah, and people are like, there's been bigger losses now than the NIU loss.
That's true. That is very true.
Still have a great path for the playoffs. They're in a good spot. Still, though, every team we've mentioned since, I would still put Boise State above.
That's fair. That's still fair.
Number 11, going up 5 spots. This has got to be approaching the highest they've ever been ranked. Iowa State.
Man, they're doing it really quietly too. I still haven't watched an Iowa State game this year.
I watched them versus Iowa.
There hasn't been like an Iowa State game that I'm like, man, I have to sit down and watch this. And now I think I have to make a point to actually watch an Iowa State game.
Dude, they're good. They're probably one of the more like all-around put-together teams in the Big 12, which is a very fun thing and not something you usually say about Iowa State. They have a good quarterback. Their defense is phenomenal. I was in love with this team preseason. I'm in love with them now. They were my pick if you guys watched the college football tailgate Big 12 preview. They were my pick to win the conference.
I'd been burned so many times by picking Iowa State to do something in the Big 12 and then them have Iowa State kind of years.
They very easily could still have an Iowa State year. We're still real early on. We're barely in conference play. At number 10, going up 5 spots, Clemson, back to the top 10.
I still don't think that they've played an actual legit team yet.
I think you're right that we don't know what we're going to get out of this Clemson team. And I still stand by the fact they could very well be good enough to win the ACC. They will get housed. Maybe not in the first round, but they will get housed in the playoffs at some point.
By someone who can shut down that offense.
Like an Ohio State would destroy them. Alabama, I think, would obliterate Clemson. Georgia already did. Texas would fuck them to death. Oregon, I think, would even kill them.
I think so too. I want to see them play a legitimate team before I say that my take that Clemson is on their way out. That take is dead.
I want them to play like Syracuse.
That would be a tough game. I think that would be a very tough game for them.
Yep, especially if it was at Syracuse. I don't have Clemson's schedule pulled up, but if they have a game like that, or if they have to go to SMU or anything like that, I don't think they do. But something like that would be very fun. Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
because he's amazing. It's crazy to me. Just as an aside, the 2 of the best receivers in the country are both like 17 years old.
Oh, who's the other one that's
Ohio State?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They're like the Ohio State, I always forget the name, but Ohio State, he makes like a one-handed crazy catch every week.
I still haven't watched an Ohio State game because they haven't played anybody yet.
That's fair. At number 9, going up 3 spots, Ole Miss.
That was a really good bounce back win for Ole Miss. They beat a plucky South Carolina team, like handily beat a plucky South Carolina team. I think that they're going to slowly start creeping their way back up into playoff contention.
I think so too. They might lose that when they play a team like Georgia.
Sure.
But for now, they'll be back in the conversation. At number 8, falling 4 spots, the Tennessee Volunteers.
You mean I feel like if we beat you, you should fall further than that, to be fair.
They fell from top 4 to top. They're still in the top 10.
I saw a picture of a lady wearing a pretty good shirt before this game. That it was just a white shirt with red letters that said, "You know who else wears orange? Diddy." Which pretty good. Listen, I don't know what we did to make that offense look so average, but we did it, and people are gonna figure it out. Like if we did it, other teams certainly can do it.
Does Arkansas secretly have like a really good defense?
I think we do have a pretty good defense. I think we've got an excellent defense, and I think we've got a pretty mid to booty offense.
Okay, so mid to booty offense, but it has like moments of being incredible.
It does. It does. There are flashes. There are flashes of where it's fire as opposed to when it's normally Reggie.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that I'm using these terms right now, by the way, and I might just incorporate this into my personality, perhaps.
I say go for it.
Why not? Things are either fire, Reggie, booty, mid.
At number 7, falling 6 spots, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
You deserve to fall. You did probably deserve to fall a little bit farther and to have to earn your way back up, but at least you still have the aftertaste of Georgia. That's probably what's keeping you there.
I was going to say, that's probably keeping them there. I did see some people on Twitter saying, fire Kalen DeBoer. Hey, Alabama, you know what? Fire. Go for it. Fire Kalen DeBoer, and then someone else will pick him up and do one.
Tell me who you're going to get that's better. No, Sark ain't coming.
No.
You don't want Dabo.
No. Oregon's coach?
Who? Oh, Lanning, Dan Lanning. Yeah. Dude, he's got way too much small dick energy.
Also, Kalen DeBoer beat him twice at a worse school. That's all I'll say.
That's true.
At number 6, going up 2 spots, the Miami Hurricane.
God, someone's gonna get him. I think someone is, and it's not gonna be like Clemson or another like big name school. It's some little school is gonna jump up and get him because it seems like everyone's firing their best shot right now against Miami.
And you saw exactly the best and worst of Cam Ward in this game. Like he's the reason they came back, but also he's pretty sloppy for a good chunk of it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's really got a little bit of a gunslinger kind of, he got that little bit of Brett Favre to him, or where he's going to chuck up a few interceptions, but also throw some of the best balls you've ever seen.
Yeah. He's a wild card, and I'm kind of here for it. At number 5, no movement. It's Georgia. Took care of business against Auburn.
Yeah, that's a terrible Auburn team that they handled their business against.
I will say this, though. No interceptions for Peyton Thorne against Georgia. And also, this is the first time that Auburn has scored more than 10 points on Georgia in like 6 years.
They're still terrible. They're still a terrible football team.
Yes, they are. At number 4, going up 3 spots, Penn State.
Yeah, I think that's right around where they should be hanging out.
I think so too. They haven't lost yet. They got an interesting couple of weeks, I think, coming up. I think in 2 weeks they play maybe Ohio State or Michigan. I forget. Their schedule's getting interesting.
And then they can have a whiteout, and then they can lose because they always lose whenever they have whiteouts.
Yeah. At number 3, going up 3 spots, Oregon, the Ducks.
They righted the ship. Like if you would have told me that Oregon was number 3 3 weeks ago, I would have said that's malarkey. That it's BS, Jim. Just pure BS. But no. They deserve to be where they are now.
Yeah, they've been blasting fools. I'm very excited because I'm pretty sure they play Ohio State this week.
That's gonna be a game. I'll be
in Oregon, in Eugene.
I've watched so few Big Ten games and so few like Big 12 games, but I feel like there are matchups coming up where it's like, man, I got no choice but to watch these games
There's
this week.
a lot of good ones this weekend.
Yeah.
Number 2, going up a spot, Ohio State.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to play anybody until they play Oregon
this week.
Oregon this week. So we'll find out, but they were kind of in the spot where like they just really needed to rely on other teams losing to bump up because like they weren't beating anybody of note. They weren't beating anybody that would justify them jumping.
No, their biggest game was this week against Iowa. And they won comfortably. It wasn't until like the second half.
Yeah. And that wasn't the same. It's not the same Iowa as the last couple of years.
At number 1, back at number 1, it is Texas.
They haven't done anything to prove that they aren't number 1 right now. I mean,
horns down
forever.
They look good.
They do look good, and they managed to weather the storm with their backup quarterback.
Another team on the benefit of a bye week this week.
Another team on the benefit of a bye week. They get to bind it, but I think that they're on upset alert this weekend against Oklahoma.
Red River's always fucky.
It seems like the number 1, like being number 1 is a bad place to be over the last few weeks.
So what? Yeah, Georgia, then Alabama. So that's 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah.
No, Texas was number 1, wasn't it?
Oh, Texas.
Was Georgia back up to number 1? No, it was Texas.
It was Texas. Yeah. All right.
Now going through some games of note from last week. These are in no particular order. I just have these written down. SMU 34, Louisville 27.
I don't even really feel like this was that close. I think the SMU just kind of really came out and handled business. Like it had all the makings of turning into a track meet. And I mean, they put up a lot of points, but like SMU really kind of handled business more than the tune of a touchdown win.
I think so too. This game feels like it was bigger than a touchdown. And SMU, since their first 2 weeks, they're similar to Oregon in the fact that we saw them, like everyone was watching them in week 0 and they didn't look good. And then they lose to BYU. And then since then, they've been kind of just like beasting on people. Like they own TCU, demolished Florida State, and now they beat Louisville, who I still think is one of the top teams, like one of the top 4, top half teams in the ACC.
I think so too, and I think that they've figured out something at quarterback too. I think that's the big story is that they've got, their scheme is so dependent on good quarterback play, and I think they finally got it.
Missouri 10, Texas A&M 41, and I don't even think it was that close.
Missouri, what happened? God damn.
A&M came out, punched him in the mouth, and Missouri had no answer. And then it also felt like anytime Missouri did anything, it was a penalty.
And also, like, doesn't it seem like Missouri has been playing to the level of their competition, like this entire season? So what the hell were you doing in this game? Like, because whose level were you playing to there?
The A&M they thought was going to show up.
That's fair. The A&M that I give A&M credit for being.
And I'm still like, maybe me and a lot of people are still lingering. A lot of reasons why I like this Missouri team was because of what we saw last year, and they're not that team. And the other reason I like this Missouri team is because of the schedule. And even against this schedule, you can't lose like this.
No, you can't. It's embarrassing for Missouri. That apple-faced goon, Eli Drinkowitz.
I don't know any more about this. Screw it. Pitt 34, UNC 24.
Man. Poor Uncle Rico. I got to see him have just a brief collapse during this game because of Mac Brown's coaching. They still gave Pitt a game, at least. I don't know. I don't know what to make of these North Carolina games whenever Mac Brown just should obviously not be coaching football anymore.
He probably shouldn't. He probably should have retired like 2 weeks ago after the JMU game.
Yep.
And I don't know what they're doing out there right now. But this is a classic game that in years prior Pitt would have lost. The fact that they didn't makes me think this might be like a weird, interesting Pitt year.
Like a Kenny Pickett kind of Pitt.
Yeah, because they have the quarterback. Their defense probably isn't their offense definitely isn't. No, Holstein's doing really good. They have all the pieces of a weird Pitt team.
And I bet you Holstein even has regular-sized hands.
Yeah, he probably does. Chase, I forgot to write one down, but it just came to my mind. Can you look up the score of the JMU ULM game?
Oh, it was like a point.
Because it was interesting.
It was 2 points. Louisiana Monroe 21, JMU 19.
I do have that right here. And guess what? JMU, just like that, gets knocked out of playoff contention. And ULM is 4-1.
Do we talk about ULM being in playoff contention a little bit? Can they sustain this?
Dude, I think they're just happy to be making a bowl.
Let's not jump the gun and say they've made a bowl just yet.
Dude, this team is winning. And
they're winning.
This JMU team is a good team that they beat.
Do they still have Terry Bowden as their head coach?
No, it was the interim from UAB before Dilfer got hired.
Football head coach. Let's see.
Because I've seen Welcome to UAB like tweeting about him because because the guy who is their head coach, he was the interim after Bill Clark at UAB.
Yeah. Looks like Bryant Vincent.
Yep.
People also search for.
They went with the DILF.
People also search for General Booty, Terry Bowden, Trent Dilfer, Bob Chesney, and Del McGee.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Shout out ULM though. Shout out ULM.
Man.
Big win.
This is the most formidable ULM team, I think, since ULM beat Arkansas like 10, 15 years ago.
I think so. On a related note, Tulane 71, UAB 20.
God, the Dilf's got to be gone, right?
I don't think there's a single fan base that is more likely to run someone out of town with literal pitchforks.
Than the UAB, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Like if you're UAB
mob territory, dude.
You got rid of your football program for a couple of years? How are you angry mob territory? Like what do you deserve? You know, like what do you think you deserve?
Well, they had it back. Bill Clark was doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
You just don't hire Dilfer. Yep. Hire the guy that's now at ULM. That's who you should have hired.
That is who you should have hired. But instead you went for the splashy hire with the DILF.
They got high off that Colorado paint.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick blurb. There was only one directional Mich that played this week, Western Michigan. They won 45-42 over Ball State.
I think they came back in that game too.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that was a good one for a directional Mich. That's what we like to see around here.
Another one just to briefly put some respect. Charlotte 55, Eastern Carolina 24.
I keep hearing that Eastern Carolina is the most improved team in the country. They got smoked.
Do we need to keep disrespecting Biff Poggi?
I think we should. I want to see how far we can take this.
Like, this is 2 weeks in a row now. We've disrespected him 2 weeks in a row, and he's come out and won. Not just in a close one last week, but in dominating fucking fashion. They won wire to wire here. And yes, ECU's apparently the most improved team in the country. Damn Pirates.
Damn. You cannot take L's to Biff Poggi in Charlotte right now.
You can't take L's like this to Biff Poggi in Charlotte ever.
Ever. You can't let Charlotte score 55 points.
That's criminal.
That is absurd. They might not have scored 55 points the entire season going into that game.
They might have matched their season total. Iowa 7, Ohio State 35.
They didn't quite get monstered. It's still 4 touchdowns, though. It's still 4 touchdowns.
it was a game at half. Like Ohio State only scored in the first quarter, and then it was a typical Iowa, like drag you down. They're another rock fighty sort of team. But then like Ohio State, they just have the depth, they have the players, they have one of the best receivers in college football. They have a good run game. Like they just have the tools to pull away from an Iowa.
How many Big Ten championship games have we seen end like this, where Iowa comes out and plays a good first half, and then they just get blitzed in the second? Yeah.
So it either goes like that, or Iowa just gets blitzed from the jump.
Probably should have played Iowa in the points in the first half.
I played the first quarter and I got fucked by that touchdown.
Yeah.
6.5.
That's rough. That's rough.
West Virginia 38, Oklahoma State 14.
This was even in Stillwater, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
How do you let that happen?
I feel like at this point, I'm worried that Oklahoma State will just look like a blotch on your resume.
I don't want to talk resumes because I feel like we're still going to be scrapping to make a bowl game.
No, you guys, dude, you guys are the chaos team right now.
We are Libibity Bowl bound probably, but I gotta ask. Here's the question I have to ask: is are we at the point where we start asking like, is it time to move on from Mike Gundy?
I want to see what they have next year. The issue is, now that we're looking back, remember our Big 12 preview. Oklahoma, Texas lead. Oklahoma State should be theoretically in the driver's seat, one of the top 3 teams in the conference. They have all those returning players. They have one of their best returning running backs in the country. They have Alan Bowman, who has been like a pretty good quarterback in other destinations. They have expectations this year. And when Oklahoma State has expectations, they always disappoint.
Yeah, they do. I don't know. I think it's getting like, you think of like Mike Gundy wearing like his OAN shirt and stuff like that, and you wonder like, do kids really want to play for Mike Gundy these days?
I think aside from the political, I don't know how political he might get on the football field, but he seems like a fun guy. I don't know. If they have another season like this back to back, then it is time to talk about it. I think he's built up enough goodwill to like, he's got to be top 4 longest tenured coach.
Oh, he's got to be. He's at the point where like they won't fire him, but they'll sure urge him to resign.
But he's not old enough to retire, so I can't picture Gundy in a different job. You
know what my favorite part of Mike Gundy this season is? Is that his defense of Ollie Gordon's drunk driving arrest was basically just, shit, we've all driven drunk before. We all drive drunk. It's like, oh, okay.
That was the peak of Oklahoma State's year.
I think so.
Alabama 35, Vanderbilt 40.
Vanderbilt, you did it. You did this victory right, Vanderbilt. Not only did you tear down the goalposts, parade them down to Broadway, throw them in the river, the Columbia River or whatever it is, the Columbus River. But you also played on repeat the clip of Nick Saban saying that it was the only place that was easy to play in the SEC. Like you just came in like a wrecking ball in the active construction site that is the Vandy Stadium.
Now, I will readily admit that I have complained once or twice about the transfer portal. I will never do it again. I will never stand for any transfer portal slander, because without that, we do not get Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt to, oh my God, to just crush Alabama.
It wasn't just Pavia. It's like the entire New Mexico State team, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of New Mexico State team. Plus, we can't fail to mention Jerry Kill.
Plus Jerry Kill. That helps.
Without Jerry Kill, because, yeah, you have to factor in, without Jerry Kill, they at New Mexico, like, he's the one that found Diego Pavia at New Mexico Military Institute.
Yeah. He, man, if there ever was a time for a Jerry Kill seizure, that was it. that was the time to have just a grand mal seizure, like just completely seize up, like win and just completely go into a conniption fit.
I love this Vanderbilt team so much. I love Diego Pavia. Build a statue of Diego Pavia.
I think they will. They probably. I can't see why they wouldn't. They hadn't beaten Alabama in like 30 years, which it actually was surprised to me that it was that recent that they had beaten Alabama. But
yeah, you said the coach's name was like something.
Yeah, man. This game was electric to watch. The play calling was completely inspired. It was completely ballsy. Like, they didn't come out there to play close. They came out there to win, and they called plays like it. And I love seeing it.
Also, one of my favorite aspects of college football is the transitive property. So with that, Georgia Southern somehow now has a win over Alabama, and therefore a win over Georgia.
Therefore a win over Georgia, right? Yeah, that's like fun with inflated stats in baseball at the beginning of the season.
And I don't want people to get confused because I was listening to some Five Mom clips and whatnot. So they said on was it First Take or something? He said that Georgia Southern beat Vanderbilt, but no, I'm saying Georgia Southern has the win because Georgia Southern beat Georgia State, who beat Vanderbilt.
Right. And by the transitive property, it's a win over Alabama and Georgia.
Yes, which is absolutely beautiful. Dude, Vanderbilt's first win against an AP top 5 team ever.
They were 0-60. 60. That's
easily
amazing.
The biggest win in program history, no doubt. Not going to be topped. Celebrate the moment. I don't care what happens the rest of the season. This is why college football is amazing.
They should be in a bowl game just for this. Like, no matter how many wins that they have. Did you tear up a little bit whenever they were talking to Diego Pavia after the game? I did.
Oh, so I teared up a lot. And then when he was talking about God and then immediately cussed, beautiful.
Yeah. Vandy turned.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love him. I love Vanderbilt. He's the most exciting. I don't care. Like, Travis Hunter is the best player. Genty is amazing. Diego Pavia is the most exciting player in college football.
Yeah, and his hero is Johnny Manziel, and it shows. Like, he's very, very Johnny Manziel.
He's better. I don't care. He's better.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm talking like it's like he's taken on Johnny Manziel's like personality, everything. Yeah.
Also undefeated against the state of Alabama.
Yes, amazing.
He has another shot though. Wait for Vanderbilt to be like a 3.5, 4-point favorite against Auburn.
I can't wait to hear Hugh Freeze spin it after they lose to Vanderbilt.
He'll probably blame it on the players like he always does.
That's true. He seemed to blame it on the players and the coaches against Oklahoma.
What do we take away from Alabama? Because this is kind of like, if you remember Kalen DeBoer's Washington team last year, they were in a lot of scrappy games with teams that they should have easily been beating.
Yeah. I mean, it's a black mark for Kalen DeBoer. You can't say that it's not a black mark for Kalen DeBoer. But I mean, Saban lost to ULM in his first year. You know, like, granted, at least it was an SEC team that be at Vanderbilt, but still, at least. But I mean, here's me, like, after they knock off the number 1 team, here's me not putting respect on Vanderbilt's name because they're Vanderbilt. Like, they lost to a pretty good Vanderbilt team as opposed to Nick Saban's first year where they lost to ULM.
It's true. I would say this is a better Alabama team than Nick Saban inherited, but I think you're right. I think this is like this new era of Alabama. They have letdown spots. Like, we were so used to Nick Saban instilling in this team that they wouldn't have like these huge letdown spots.
Right. And they were due for a letdown. Like, I don't understand how you win a game. Like, it should have been obvious with a win like they had against Georgia. Like, even that they wouldn't like cover. Like, you know, it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a big deal for Kalen DeBoer. Now, if he starts dropping games left and right, then it's trouble. But I got this sneaking suspicion that shit ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, like obviously if he drops like 2 more games, then black mark season. But
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Utah State 30, Boise State 62. This is old just to talk about Ashton Genty and why he is must-watch TV. And like he's going to New York.
Who do you feasibly give the Heisman to other than him?
I think right now it's between him and Travis Hunter.
I think if he breaks Barry Sanders' records,
It's got to be him.
it has to be him. There's no excuse for it to be anybody else.
He threw half of this because he only really played half of this game. He's already over 1,000 yards, dude.
In 5 games.
Yes. 4.5, really.
4.5. Yeah. Imagine how many yards he could have put up if they'd kept him in.
Like he's averaging 11 yards a carry. He's averaging 2 touchdowns a game. He's going insane every single week. And it's not just like, yeah, Utah State's not a good team. He was doing it against Oregon. He hasn't rushed for under like 120 yards.
No. He's just electric. Just plug him in and watch him go, man. It's must-watch football.
His first touch of the game was a 60-yard touchdown.
Just gone.
Michigan 17.
He doesn't seem as shifty as Barry Sanders. He just seems to like hit the hole and like
He runs so smooth though.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not like all over the place changing directions and everything like where Barry Sanders was just slippery. Like he just seems to like make a cut and go, you know?
Yes, he's just he's like fluid.
Very fluid. Very, very fluid.
Michigan 17, Washington 27. Should have seen. I mean, I'm sorry. I was on the wrong side of this one. Eric was right. But in hindsight, we should have seen it coming. Michigan will just play in these types of games where, guess what? When you don't have a passing offense, it's really hard to like win every game that you play.
Yeah, you can just load the box and shut people down. The games where you're not bigger than everybody on an offensive line and everything like that. Yeah. I think this Michigan team is just kind of exactly what we thought they were.
Yeah, there's still going to be like a 7-5, 8-4 team, but they're just not going to like they're not a playoff team, which is fine. You lost a ton. It's understandable.
Yeah.
Also, kind of nuts. This is like a national championship rematch, and it was way gross.
Yeah, just a disgusting game.
USC 17 and Minnesota 24.
Welcome to the Big Ten, USC.
Welcome to the Big Ten. This was like a classic Big Ten West sort of game.
Yeah, dude. Which, I mean, who's more Big Ten Western than USC these days?
That's fair. They're the most Western team.
Yeah, if they're further west than UCLA.
Fun thing that would never happen, but I kind of wanted to, is have Lincoln Riley and Mike Gundy swap places.
Ooh, what can Mike Gundy do with Lincoln Riley's team?
And what can Lincoln Riley do at Oklahoma State? A little bit less limelight.
That would be interesting. What do you think would happen?
I think Lincoln Riley would succeed. I think Mike Gundy would hate Los Angeles with a fiery passion and like burn up.
Yeah.
And like he'd crash out.
Yeah. Here's a fun scenario. Mike Gundy takes the Cal head coaching job.
So
think of how much he would love Berkeley.
He would love, yeah. Mike Gundy transformation into a stoner hippie would be amazing. But also, we've seen high offensive powered Cal, and it was fun. The Tedford days were fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it were.
Tennessee 14, Arkansas 19. Go off.
What can I say? We have one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. Because of our defense, we're going to be at least in every single game this year. I still think Bobby Petrino has forgotten how to call a game offensively. But with our backup quarterback, we came in and did the damn thing. I don't know what to say other than just a great fucking win for the Hogs, and one that I think saves Sam Pittman's job. I think regardless of what happens for the rest of the season, I think he's safe.
What's your guys' record right now? You're at 4 wins?
4-2. And we still got Mississippi State and we still got La Tech on the schedule. So we're gonna be scrapping. I'm not counting Mississippi State as an automatic win. We'll still be scrapping for a bowl game.
But I also agree with you, though. I think coming into the season, I think we were talking about what does Sam Pittman need to do to save his job. A was make a bowl. B was have like a signature win, which Arkansas had been lacking under his era.
Yeah.
This is huge.
This is huge. This is, and I mean, for us, wins against top 5 teams don't come very often. So I was incredibly happy. I drank a lot of whiskey.
It's also, as an outsider, it's very fun to see Bobby Petrino not sabotaging someone else's job.
Right. Doesn't he always seem like he's always angling for somebody else's job, and so he's therefore, doing like the sneaky dick thing?
Hey, he's not doing it here. Maybe he's turned a new leaf. Maybe he's doing the whole Chip Kelly thing. He just wants to be a coordinator and call plays now.
I don't think he's doing that great of a job calling plays, quite honestly.
It's very weird because sometimes he just gets in, like, he's in that bag every once in a while, and it's very good. And then other times he's trying to do way too much.
He's too obsessed with throwing the ball. He just forgets that his run game exists. And this was my gripe of him. Back when he was at Texas A&M, back when he was at Arkansas, before that he just kind of forgets his run game exists.
He's a weird guy.
Yep.
Miami 39, Cal 38.
Damn. That's the word for this game. It's just damn.
It would have made a perfect cap on the day. And not to say, like, regardless of the outcome, Cal was awesome at game day. I watched game day for the first time in forever. The environment in Memorial Stadium at Berkeley looked amazing. And Cal put it on them. They were up like 31-10 at points.
Yeah. You give them a little bit of a grace because it's not like they've been there before, so they don't have the step on your neck instinct, And it's not like Miami's altogether untalented by any means.
No, it sucked because Miami didn't do anything until the fourth quarter, and it felt unearned. It felt like Cal earned this win.
Yeah. Cal earned this win whenever they had that many people show up to game day at like 5:30 in the morning.
Even earlier, there's people at midnight. Also, Marshawn Lynch as the guest picker was high out of his mind.
High as a kite. If only he had hit somebody on a golf cart, that would have been amazing.
He was driving it.
Yeah.
This game was awesome. I will be, again, I'm betting every Cal game this year. They covered in this one. Almost should have got the win. Almost got the win. I'm ride or die with Berkeley and the Calgorithm.
I really like this team. If there's anybody that I'm going to fan base for or fanboy for, then it's going to be that team. I'm looking through to see what the must-watch matchups this coming week are.
It's a big week.
Yeah, we got the Red River Shootout. Pitt and Cal. That's going to be a good game.
Pitt Cal's a big one.
Penn State USC. We got Florida.
That'll probably be a good game.
Florida, Tennessee, Ole Miss, LSU, Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa State, West Virginia at West Virginia.
That one will be interesting. That'll be one to keep an eye on.
Boise State, Hawaii. Well, it's at Hawaii. That's the only thing that's really.
Hey. Don't fuck around on the island.
You don't fuck around on the island. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna have as much exciting stuff to talk about next week as we did this week.
Last game, Texas Tech 28, Arizona 22. Texas Tech top of the Big 12 right now.
They put up points in bunches. They didn't do it here, but they put up points in bunches. They're capable of it.
Also, there's two other games that I have listed down here, but before we get into those, we'll just get into it. Houston 30, TCU 19. TCU just has been on an absolute slide since the national championship. They've gotten like worse every week, it feels like.
Yeah. I feel like it might be time to show their head coach the door.
You think get rid of Sonny Dykes already?
I think so.
He did have Gary Patterson's players when he did that. So,
and he showed that he can work the transfer portal that 1 year. Like he hasn't been able to do it the last few years.
It's true. It might be. We might be having to have a conversation, especially if you lose to Houston. Houston's been awful.
They've been terrible.
Syracuse 44, UNLV 41 last week. This was Friday.
A banger. A banger of a football game. And this Syracuse team is damn good with Kyle McCord under center, man. Damn good. They show that they can keep up scoring. Their defense is a little bit better than I think people give them credit for. I think when they play at home, they're really tough. And, I mean, you got to give them a lot of credit for going and getting a tough win on the road at Allegiant with a crowd that's actually fired up about UNLV football.
Yes, huge win for Syracuse. I think the big thing for me on the Syracuse team is, unlike years previous, this is not the paper tiger Syracuse where they come out 5-0 and then go on a 6-game losing streak.
No, I agree. Something changed whenever they changed coaches. As much as big of fans of Dino Babers as we are, something changed, and I do think that they're going to sustain it and keep winning games all the way through the second half of the season.
I do want to cap off. Weeks like this are why college football to me is the best sport on the planet. This was supposed to be a slow week with not a lot of good matchups, and it's now the most exciting weekend of college football we've had all season.
Hands down. Might end up being the best weekend of college football that we get this season, at all, through the rest that's going on.
It could be. Now to go through the NFL, we'll quick takes on the NFL this week, Chase.
Okay, I got you.
Jets 17, Vikings 23.
Brian Flores is an excellent defensive coordinator, and the Jets and Nathaniel Hackett is a booty offensive coordinator. I think is what this comes down to.
He keeps Aaron Rodgers looks old.
Yeah, he kept running the ball on first down and they kept shutting down the run on first down, and they kept getting put in these long situations where Brian Flores shows all this different pressure, drops back. He's crafty. I think Brian Flores might be the best defensive coordinator in the game right now.
I think right now it's pretty much undisputable. Panthers 10, Bears 36.
Panthers 10, Bears 36. Somehow Caleb Williams' revenge game. They came back down to earth with Andy Dalton because the Bears are not that good.
Their defense is good. The Bears' defense is good.
The Bears' defense is good. Their offensively, I'm not sure Caleb Williams. I'm starting to wonder if Caleb Williams is going to figure it out.
He still looked pretty good. This is the kind of blowout you want to see. I still think probably needs an offensive line.
I just think that what he does isn't sustainable. The whole just let me run around and make things happen.
No, I agree. And we've already seen there's another quarterback in that same draft. It's always worse when you have another quarterback in that same draft class doing so much. And
yeah,
we'll get to him in a little bit. Dolphins 15, Patriots 10. This was a shit game.
This was the grossest game of the day. Yeah, man. I don't think there's really much that you can say for either of these teams at this point.
No, I didn't think the Dolphins were going to be good. I'm shocked with how bad they look without Tua. It reiterates how much the team was built around him.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if they could find someone who can just throw the ball, if they could, you have Tyreek Hill. If they could just find someone to throw the ball, they would be in good shape. But no.
Hey, I think in a week or two we get Tua back. I think he's gonna come back,
and everyone wants to see that.
Oh yeah, baby. No controversy there. Colts 34, Jags 37. Jags needed this one.
They did. and this was a game that if the Jags had lost, then you couldn't like squarely put the loss at Trevor Lawrence's feet because he balled out. Like he completed, I don't know what his completion percentage was, but he threw for about 300 yards. He's got a weapon down there too with, was it Brian Robinson Jr., the wide receiver from LSU? Yeah, I was going to feel bad if he lost this game because you knew that he was going to get blamed, but he played pretty well, and he really did need that.
He played really well. It was also his birthday.
Good for him. That's right. It was his 25th birthday.
Also, fun stat, the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville in like 10 years.
Oh God, that's a terrible stat to have. Dude, they almost got Joe Flacco, which, by the way, can we talk about how hot Joe Flacco is? It's been a stretch of like 9 games that he's thrown multiple touchdowns.
I don't know why. I mean, when we get to this, when we talk about them in a little bit, I don't get how the Browns didn't just re-sign him. They look so much. They were a playoff team with Joe Flacco.
Because they paid Deshaun Watson $250 million.
He stinks. Bills 20, Texans 23.
That loss falls 100% on the shoulders of my boy Joe Brady, on Sean McDermott.
And Josh Allen.
Because he didn't complete the passes that they called. But backed up in your own end zone, you throw the ball 3 times, you have terrible clock management, and you make it an easy win for Houston. They should have won that game. They're at least gone to overtime, and they just completely blew it.
And McDermott admitted it afterwards, too. Should have just ran it.
Yeah, I am not a big fan of that. Like, let me admit that was my bad. That's on me. Like, no, go out on your shield at that point and be like, yeah, I called him. This is why I called the passing plays.
I would have liked that too, because you can make a case for that. Like, oh yeah, if we would have ran, they would have just called their timeouts. They would have had time to march down and get the field goal anyway. Like, you can make an argument for why you did it.
Yeah.
But then you just count out like that. I think our mutual friend Adam, Mr. Adam Pelletier, would like McDermott gone.
I think once their like championship window finally like closes, which I don't think it has yet. I think that's when once people realize it's done, like that's when McDermott goes.
I think you're probably right. Ravens 41, Bengals 38.
Amazing football game.
Best game of the weekend for the NFL. Easily.
Best game of the weekend, probably the best touchdown pass of the year with the Lamar Jackson like stiff arm and rolling out of bounds and getting hit and finding likely. Great kick by Justin Tucker to win the shit. Great run by Derrick Henry to set up Justin Tucker to win the shit. It was just like a 26-yard chip shot, but big field goal from Justin Tucker to tie it. Great football game. And I feel kind of right in my take. I did a AFC North preview with Gino Bicola, and I feel vindicated in my take of like, what did Cincinnati do different to get a different result than like last year to keep, because they have the exact same problems of no offensive line that can't protect Joe Burrow. He still threw for a bunch of yards, but he's going to do that every single game, but they're going to get that dude killed.
And their defense is worse.
They've got a good pass rushers, and they've got a good defensive back on the back end with Cam Taylor-Britt. There you go, someone chain appreciator out there.
Oh yeah.
There you
go. Also, I believe Lamar Jackson only has 1 loss against the NFC now.
The AFC?
No, the NFC.
The NFC? Oh wow,
that's impressive. I know this was an AFC matchup, but this still just continues.
Man. Lamar and Derek, they're gonna be tough to handle.
Dude, Derrick Henry's been looking better and better each week, and you were 1,000% right. That's probably the touchdown pass of the season.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was so badass. He's so good.
I love it when he big mans people. Browns 13, Commanders 34.
This is quick. Jaden Daniels is good. Deshaun Watson is bad.
And I don't know if it's up to Stefanski to like continue to play Deshaun Watson or not.
Listen, if I'm ownership and I paid $250 million for this guy, mostly guaranteed, I am going to 100% like until I can get that off my books, that motherfucker's playing.
How much do you think they're invested in like a private investigator to find out whether or not Deshaun Watson was at like a Diddy party?
A lot. I don't know. I just heard they settled his other case, the case that they had that came up right before the season. This settled for an undisclosed amount, which I don't know what's going to come of that. But I got to think that they're hoping that there's another allegation that can get them out from under this fucking contract.
Because did you see that fourth down like almost play where they were like Stefanski wanted to go for it on fourth down and then Deshaun just starts walking back to the sidelines?
I didn't see that. I'm sure that they covered it on Red Zone and everything. I just missed it, but yeah, that's I saw a lot of guff about it on Twitter. He's just a garbage human being and a garbage football player all at one time.
No one in that roster has to be like behind him, right?
No, I don't think so.
Like none of the coaching staff, I would imagine, and none of the players. Like you're vibes wise, he's the backup quarterback.
Yep.
God damn it, play Jameis. I think everyone wants it. Everyone wants it so bad. Raiders 18, Broncos 34. I do need to be.
You do need. Bo Nix better than we thought.
Yeah, he is.
A little bit better than we thought.
I don't know if he's good though.
I wouldn't say that he's necessarily good yet. I think he might end up being pretty good if he keeps playing under Sean Payton.
Raiders don't have a quarterback.
No, they don't. Because you got Aiden O'Connell in this game. This is the second time I've seen Minshew pulled and Aiden O'Connell put in. They've already checked out on the season. They're going to be trading Devontae Adams anyway. It's over. It's over in Las Vegas.
I will say this: they're still very fun to watch on defense, just with Max Crosby alone.
Yeah, he's a freak.
He's a freak.
Absolute freak.
Cardinals 24, 49ers 23.
The fucking 49ers lost their kicker. Like he pulled his groin or something, and then he couldn't kick. And like it was going to be either the punter or Juszczyk, like actually kicking. So I don't know. I think you just draw a big line through that because it was just a fluke loss.
Fluke loss. Also, this is kind of like a must-win spot for the Cardinals to kind of still keep in it this season.
I did like the first touchdown that Arizona scored. Like the Red Seas parted for Kyler to take off, and he throws up the number one finger. Like as soon as he breaks into the open field, I kind of like seeing that. I know it was a dick move, but I like seeing it.
Dude, again, I'll say it again. When he's on, Kyler Murray to me is still one of like the top 5 most entertaining players in football.
Every time he plays
for a while.
Every time he plays, I just think of like I don't know. I hear this noise just.
I think of like the Looney Tunes running sound effects. Yeah. Giants 29, Seahawks 20.
Seahawks, what happened?
This was the spot. This is the gross. You take these gross, like the Giants have been. I don't know. This was a game that the Giants were never supposed to win. They were out Malik Neighbors. And this is gross. It's a gross spot.
Yeah. Apparently Brian Dable spent the entire week like preparing them for the crowd noise by just yelling at them in the huddle. I got to think that helped a little bit.
I like that. Packers 24, Rams 19. The Rams, obviously they're playing off of hospital beds. I do want to say they won the game. That pick six was one of the worst pick sixes I've ever seen from Jordan.
God, just take the safety, dog. Like it got so much worse. So much worse. You could have just taken the safety.
He was horizontal when he threw it.
Yeah, dude. Nothing about that was a good idea.
He looked good the rest of the game, especially the second half. So whatever. But
yeah,
Cowboys 20, Steelers 17.
So this is a really good football game.
It was. It was good in like a weird Steelers sort of way. Like the Steelers always play these again. They're the Iowa of the NFL for a reason. They play these weird, close, like sort of games, and they almost won this one.
Almost. I kind of wonder if they're going to make the switch to Russell pretty soon. If Danger Russ is going to be.
Fields has looked good aside from this game, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has, but like now you've dropped 2 straight. Like Russ was always supposed to be the starter. Air quotes supposed to be the starter. It makes me wonder. If he gets healthy from that calf injury, do they go ahead and make the switch?
He's probably just right there waiting. What's the score right now in the Monday night game?
They are up. The Chiefs are up 10 points, 23-13 with 11-17 left in the fourth quarter, and New Orleans has the ball and are driving.
Well, when we're done with this, when you're listening to this tomorrow morning on Tuesday, hopefully the Saints have won.
Hopefully, I need Chris Olave to go off in the fourth quarter here to have a chance to win my fantasy matchup. So hopefully that's happened as well.
Is there anything else you want to mention for the people, Chase, before we get out of here?
Jim, I think we've talked about it all tonight.
I think this was one of the better weekends of football that we'll get this year. So savor that.
Savor it. Just
let it dribble on your chin a little bit.
Just a little bit.
All right, folks. That'll do it for this episode of the Jimnasium. Follow him at Of Oaklawn everywhere. Follow his podcast, The Notorious OTB. The link is in the description down below. Follow me at XFL Jim everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I'm back online. So maybe we'll get some live streams coming up the next couple weeks. The CFL playoffs are coming right around the corner. Love you guys. See you next time for another episode of the Jimnasium.